Washington 0 for 3 on third down. Pressure coming. Haskins gets away from it, has room to run, and will run for a first down. There's a flag from the secondary as well. He's at the bottom of your screen, and Darius Slay on him again. Haskins looking that way, gets it to him on the slant. McLaurin tries to break away and does. Inside the 25, and there you go. They get the ball to McLaurin. Haskins fires, and it's complete inside the 15-yard line to Inman. That's good for another first down.
Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us. DJ Jules.
Defense and a chance for the Washington O to take the lead. Haskins goes in over the middle. It's Thomas inside the 30, and now a little more.
Lead the Raiders 30-27.
Guess that's his theme today. Haskins somehow gets it in there. A 3rd and 8, and then a second history of postseason battles.
Haskins on first down has McLaurin open, and he gets away from 2 defenders. And McLaurin, by the way, Bot catching for 91 yards, and now has more and has the first down. Quick pass, caught, first down and more. Terry McLaurin, touchdown. Haskins. And the pass is caught by Steve Chadwick. Good news. Haskins back to the air. Here's McLaurin, and McLaurin with a first down. Haskins to the end zone, leaping up. That's a touchdown for Dontrell Inman. 10. Haskins, short. McLaurin with running room up the sideline. McLaurin trying to put a little move on his fellow Ohio downfield here. Haskins, short toss to Gibson again. Antonio Gibson's team back here. Quick toss to McLaurin with blockers. McLaurin's got a first down inside the Cleveland 35.
Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us. DJ Jules.
Haskins to the end zone, open. It's Inman with his 2nd touchdown catch of the day, and Washington is Haskins on 3rd down, and a diving catch is made. 14-yard pickup. Get there. Haskins deep right over McLaurin has it, stays on his feet, and down the right. 3rd down and 6. As Haskins airs it out, looking for McLaurin. 1st and 10. Haskins looking deep for McLaurin. Has a step, and McLaurin with the catch. Good looking play there by Washington. Haskins trying to do it again. He takes it in. So the big play to McLaurin, capped off by Haskins with his first rushing touchdown.
Excuse me, that's right. It's Thursday night. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, coming to you live from the lab. CP3 as always. We got DujunneaB also already on the feed because you know what time it is. It's a week before the NFL draft, so you know Sports on the Hill podcast has to bring you the pre-draft and off-season special as always before we get into the official off-season. Well, it's already official off-season, but the official draft season of the NFL. So let me welcome my main man, DujunneaB, in. How you doing, good sir? It's been a while since we done had you on, since the football season been over. So how's it been going, my brother?
It's been going great, man. Just smelling a lot of nitro, covering a lot of drag racing, and taking a look at this draft a little bit as we get close to the draft, and just trying to figure out with all this talent, where do they go?
That's the big key with this team because I'm gonna go through the free agency. I'm not gonna go over the players that's no longer here. I'm gonna go with the players that's here, and some of the holes, appear to be filled. There's still some question marks in some other places where I know they have 6 draft spots that they're looking to fill some of those holes with some of this talent that's coming out of the NCAA, which I don't follow, so I'll be looking to your knowledge on that. But it's definitely going to be an interesting season for this team. And before we get into that, we cover DC sports, so I got to throw a little bit of DC sports out there. Unfortunately, the Nats lost to the Diamondbacks. Tried to come back. They had a 2-0 series lead and found a way to split the series with the Diamondbacks and fall to 6-9. I predicted they would be over 500 after the series, and it looks like I'm wrong. But it's a long season. They're starting to get it together. Still have to get some pitching stuff figured out, some lineup stuff. I'm not sure about the Juan Soto in a 2-hole. Yeah, I think he's been pressing, trying to make something happen, and it's not the Juan Soto I'm used to seeing. But it's like I said, it's still early. Then to talk some NHL real quick, if you don't know, now you know. Alex Ovechkin has broken another record and set another record. He's tied Wayne Gretzky and Mike Bossy for 9 50-goal seasons, which is amazing in itself. But then scoring 50 at the age of 36, he now holds the record for the most goals scored by a player over 36. So he's still chasing Gretzky. I think he will catch him, and I can't wait for it to happen. So, all right, let's get back to why we're really here talking about some football and such. Overall, DujunneaB, what was your, before I go through the names, what was your interpretation of this offseason? Because I'm looking at the acquisitions, and they are only 2 players that they actually picked up from other teams and re-signed a whole bunch of our own players. So to me, that means one thing, but I want to get what your interpretation of this free agency so far. We know sometimes coach likes to wait to the end of free agency when those veterans get cut after the draft, right before the season, and try to get some of those seasoned guys. And remember, if you sign them after week 1, their contract isn't guaranteed. If they're a veteran over 6 years, you sign them before week 1, their contract is guaranteed for the whole year for the folks that don't know that. But what was your interpretation of this offseason so far for the Washington Commanders?
Quite. They seem to think that they have the talent, with them re-signing a lot of their guys. They seem like they feel like they have the talent there. They went out and their biggest deal was the quarterback deal. I know everybody was one way or the other with that. It is an upgrade. Every quarterback, especially when you're talking about what Washington can do, has its flaws. But I would say quiet, and they had to make some tough decisions with guys who are not here. But overall, I don't think it's awful. It's not the fanfare and the, Vinny Serrato, guns blazing, winning the offseason type stuff. But it's definitely something that, good teams do. Not saying that the record indicates this team is good. I'm just saying that from a management standpoint, they're doing football things, which makes a heck of a lot of a difference. And hopefully it translates this upcoming season.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for year in and year out. And hopefully we can see that happen on the field. And it's funny you mentioned, the Vinny Serrato days of, trading draft pick for overhill guys out of their prime, trying to live up to their heyday of when there's no way it's going to happen. And trading away draft picks, now you have an organization that's utilizing their draft picks and developing their talent way better than we've seen in recent history. And yet folks still find a way to, it kills me. I mean, I see the improvement. It might not be across the board, but you have to look at the big picture of it. And they're trending in the right direction. Like I said, no one's saying they're a good team that's built to go on a long run and talk the NFC Championship game, possible Super Bowl. But just look at where this team was 3 years ago under. I'm not even going to say it.
With a backup quarter, I mean, this team did what it did with a backup quarterback. I mean, I don't know how many times I can illustrate that, and yet,
I mean, no one wants to hear it because they love him so much. But you have to look at what he's
a lovable guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, there's just certain things that he is a viable quality backup, which is needed in this league, which is undervalued in this league. And you can say what you want about, I cannot iterate or reiterate the amount of numbskulls that call themselves media and yet act like fanboys, and then you fans fall for the crap because they covered the team. You know what I mean? The reactions that were made by media over Carson Wentz was disgusting, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's great, but I mean, are you saying that that old in love with the Coco owner over there, with the Colts organization and what they've done is any better? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I know everybody wants to say every time Washington gets a player and, there's some kind of indictment on him, but I just think it's just a narrative that people have run with. Indy gets some kind of a little bit of a pass, but, Coco Ursay don't get no pass from me. I mean, they haven't done a quality job with a very good roster. They have a very good roster, and yet they, the best thing that they've done, and that's probably due to the coach, is get Matt Ryan. Like, I'm not listening to anything that they have to say when it comes down to anything dealing with Carson Wentz.
I mean, the only knock on him is that he doesn't stay healthy. You look at his numbers, his turnover, touchdown interception ratio is beautiful. He's only thrown.
Was it 27-7 or something like that?
You know what I'm saying? The most he's thrown in 1 year is 10. Heineke threw 15. So
because he's a gunslinger.
Exactly. Because he can't read defenses all the way. And that's why I love Wentz. He can read defenses. He knows how to throw the receiver open. Note, when Heineke was in the game, he would only throw the ball if the receiver was open, or he would throw it high and set his receivers up going across the middle. But with Wentz, he knows how to lead his receivers. He knows how to throw to a spot and has the confidence to throw to a spot. So everyone that's complaining about needing wide receivers to go along with Terry, when you have a quarterback that has those abilities, you make the players around you better. So then they will have a better chance at developing when you have a quarterback that's going to put them in a position to be successful, i.e. not just when they're wide open or when they feel comfortable throwing the ball, but having confidence in that wide receiver to run that route to be in the spot where he's supposed to be at, where that quarterback is going to throw the ball at. See,
that's a good point. That's a good point. I have a real good buddy that does a lot of stuff with Indy and is an Indy fan, and that was one of what they're saying now is that they need a wide receiver because Michael Pittman does not feel that is the number one, and that's saying a lot when that guy along with a couple other guys were eating with Carson Wentz. And I mean, he wasn't perfect all the time, but when the games that he played well in, which was more often than not, they played and he made them look well. I mean, that a concern for me here in Washington as far as how they've been able to lock some guys down. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Diami Brown fan. I think that he has all the intangibles. Cam Sims, when it requires him to make some type of spectacular catch, really good at doing that. The simple things he doesn't seem to come down with. Will that get better? And is Curtis Samuel going to be able to get on the field? That's a question for me as well. So that's the biggest question, because I think Curtis Samuel can make a big difference with the whole entire wide receiving core. So, there's questions, I think, but with that, you have a quarterback that has made a lot of guys that, other teams don't feel that their guys are a number one and he's made them look fairly well. So that's a plus.
Definitely. And with DujunneaB Brown, I think he's going to, with Wentz, I think that's going to help him take a stride. I can't even say take the next step because he barely made a step in the league. 12 catches for 65 yards. So hopefully we'll see him. And with Curtis Samuel, I'm glad that they shut him down, I call it shut it down, even though they were still trying to dress him. But the fact that he had, didn't try to force it, I gave him those last 6 games and the whole offseason to get that growing 100%. So he has no reason not to be ready to perform in training camp, preseason, OTAs, everything. And then if he doesn't perform in the regular season, you can cut him, and he's not a big salary cap number because of his contract with the guaranteed money that he received.
Right.
So everything is lined up to see the foundation that they have. Now Scott Turner be going into his, third full season. Second full season. I don't even want to count the first season because of the COVID stuff and not having a full, chance to be with the players. But I want to see strides in him also because last year play calling got better towards the end of the season. Still not to where I say, okay, I see what he's doing. I see the method to his madness. Sometimes I don't know what the hell he's doing sometimes. But I'm hoping to see some development with him also, and that's become building rapport. But now, with a new quarterback, how much can we expect of that? But you still have the same pieces on the offense, so hopefully he goes to their strengths and they get enough time working in the offseason to get acclimated with each other and have some chemistry going into the season, because we know how this team always likes to start off slow in the beginning of the season. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like you got to kick them out of bed in the morning. It's time to go to school. Like, come on, about week 4, you like, come on, y'all. You know you got to go to school today. Why I got to go through this again? Let's get it in gear. Let's do it. It's mind-numbing. But
Right.
I think another key factor is having a third-place schedule, not facing the cream of the crop of all divisions in the league. Because we know this team wasn't ready for that.
Yeah, I was adamant about that when Ron said they needed to go win the division. It's nothing wrong with striving for something, but winning the division the way you want it doesn't help you the next year when they give you a first place schedule and your team is not first place ready at all. And it really, I don't know. Do you want to say they use that as a gauge? I don't know, but I would not sign up for that at all. And that's okay. I understand where he lies and how it all has to look. But if the organization is giving you the time to build, then they should be understanding of that. These fake, phony masked first, win the division seasons, usually don't end up well the following season because your team isn't at that point to face that type of a schedule. They're just simply not there yet. And that was proven last year.
Yeah, like I said, the division kind of fell in their laps. They got hot at the right time. The rest of the division fell off.
True.
So, it just happened. You're not going to say, hey, we're not going to win the game because we don't want to win the division. If it happens, it happens. Your team's building, playing good. You're showing them what happens when you play together, you play well, you practice good. So you're showing them what happens with hard work, even though it's in a losing, season, but you win a division, and the next year, it is what it is. But
right.
I see some method to it. Some method to his madness. You're not going to not win just because. So but last year, like I said, playing the top teams, they went on that 4-game stretch where they beat 4 quality teams.
They did.
A backup quarterback. So
they did.
It just took
with a gunslinging backup quarterback.
Yeah, but it's just sad that it took after the bye week, after week 9, for these adjustments to be made defensively. I think that's what a major change was, and that segues into my only real issue with Coach Rivera is leaving Jack Del Rio as defensive coordinator. I'm tired of
I
seeing
have
the
to
same.
agree.
I'm tired of seeing the same bland defense. I'm tired of seeing, the players in the same place. When we played Dallas with the rookie Mika Parsons, you heard them commentating the whole game. He's lining up over the guard. He's over the center. He's over the left tackle, the right tackle. What do we see Chase Young at every time? Over the left tackle. What do you see Montez Sweat? Over the right tackle.
They know exactly where they're going to
Yeah.
be. I think we talked about
We
this
talked
a
about
lot.
it over and over. That's why I'm like,
We've talked about this a lot.
that's why I'm like, why? We know what he used to do. We know the exotic blitzes and the stunts and the twist and all types of stuff that he used to do to get the pressure on the quarterback. And then all of a sudden he's here with, 4 first rounders on the line. Oh, I want to get pressure with just the front 4, and I want to run more man zone. But then you pick
Is
up.
that scared of because he feels like the back end isn't good enough?
I mean, my thing is you go out and sign the best man cover cornerback in free agency, and then you make him play zone.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of that, but they do. This team has a tendency of doing things that I'm just looking at, and all you have to do. I mean, I can eeny, meeny, miny, mo pick a fan that can look at this defense and say, yeah, this isn't how you're supposed to run this defense with the talent you have. And every time they do the exact opposite of what the strength of the defense is not. The strength is playing man to man. If I get beat man to man, it's one thing. But given quality first place team type schedule, quality teams holes to throw in, just makes no sense. So you're just playing pitch and catch now, and we tackle them where they stand, hopefully. If they don't juke us out of our shoes and get yacked.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. And when that's not your corner's strengths to do, and really the defense is built to be physical, not just on the front, but also on the back as well. Like, I don't know. I agree with you though. I wasn't too happy about old Jack being here, but I do understand the other side of it. If you want to play devil's advocate, is the continuity of keeping the same, because you have the same everything on offense. Doing a change on defense may not be prudent to see growth. It may be a step back for the defense, but we've seen people make changes and their units take, quality steps, big leaps forward. So I know it's devil's advocate, but if it was me, I probably would have fired his behind. He'd been on the first thing smoking out of DC.
Yeah, I was scratching my head. He made that before the season. He made that statement, so I was kind of, like, okay, we're going that route. All right, I got to ride with you for now. But I don't know if you checked out any of the before I get in the free agency. We said we was going to get in the free agency. We've been talking about a team, but I don't know if you got a chance to catch any of the USFL football this past weekend.
Yes.
And I was watching the Houston versus Michigan game. And the Houston Gamblers, Jack Del Rio need to call their defensive coordinator and see how you run a dominant defense, because they had a linebacker that was an ex-MMA fighter that, I mean, this dude was everywhere.
He was balling.
Bruh, he had the 90-yard fumble recovery for touchdown, bruh.
Yeah.
The first play of the game, he laid the wood to the running back for a 3-yard loss, and then just got up and just screamed. I said, "Oh, this going to be a long day for that offensive line."
Yes,
but he needs to call that dude.
He needs something, because it's not that what happened last year cannot happen this year, and it shouldn't have happened last year.
No, it shouldn't have.
But it is what it is. But it definitely cannot happen this year, not at all.
All right, we can talk all day about this team, but let me go ahead and get into the all the free agent acquisitions, the free agent re-signings, I should say, because there were only 2 acquisitions from other teams. We know about Carson Wentz from the Colts, Andrew Norwell, left guard from Jacksonville.
Excellent signing, by the way.
Quiet.
Absolutely excellent signing.
Nobody really talked about that. They was talking about everything else.
Exactly.
We talked about Cam Sims re-signing, Cornelius Lucas re-signed, J.D. McClissick. We heard about the story about him going to Buffalo and then coming back. Actually, the Buffalo general manager was upset saying that when a verbal agreement is made between a player and a team in free agency, the other team is supposed to stop talking to the player. But apparently the Commanders
get out of here.
That's what's his complaint, because he said after the McClissick agreed to come to Buffalo to sign, Washington was supposed to stop communicating because that's a gentleman's rule or whatever. But Washington kept communicating with McClissick, and eventually he changed his mind and came back, and the GM was upset. And apparently him and Coach Rivera were very good friends. Now after this, he's saying that any other deals that come through, are going to be scrutinized, because he felt like the Commanders did him dirty by still communicating with McClissick. So
he can wipe his muddy backside with that gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, it's crazy.
NFL and gentleman's agreement. Yeah, tell that to a player about a gentleman's agreement.
I don't get that, but that should be
guarantee his contract, and we'll talk about a gentleman's agreement.
There you go. Put it in writing.
Get out of here.
If it ain't in writing, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
But now also some fans, the gloom and doom fans, is tuning in. That's a good sign that McClissick came back going to a team that's supposed to be a Super Bowl contender and deciding to come back to the lowly Commanders.
It does say a lot with a lot of the what we're not going to talk about, but a lot of the unnecessary stuff going on off the field. It says a lot about what's going on the field with the coach and everything surrounding the on the field product. It says a lot. It really does.
Yeah, I try to make that point sometimes, but folks just want to dwell on the negative. Oh, I forgot, somebody actually calls me Mr. Commander on my job because they feel like I'm a homer and I don't think the team can do no wrong. I was like, you must obviously haven't listened to my podcast. Because I keep it real. I love the team, but when they mess up, I say they mess up. If they doing well, I'm not going to be the negative dude that's always, trashing the team like most of the, sports media we were talking about that we're not going to name, because another whole show in itself also. But getting back to free agency before we get off on another tangent. F.A. Oboda, edge rusher from Carolina. Well, that was actually acquisition, so I forgot about him. I put him in the mix. Bobby McCain re-signed, defensive back. David Mayo, linebacker, re-signed. Corn Elder, I think he's a special teams. I don't ever remember seeing him on the defense, because I'll be waiting for him to say corn with the hit. But they re-signed him. They just signed Joey Slide, the kicker that they picked up when I don't even remember the kicker's name anymore. We've had so many of them since Hopkins been gone.
Yeah.
But they signed Slide to I believe a 2-year deal. Tyler Lawson re-signed. Keith Ishmael re-signed. That's a center. For y'all that don't know, they drafted him about 4 years ago. Daniel Wise, offensive line, re-signed. Danny Johnson re-signed. Dunmi Vutimi, can't believe I got that right. He re-signed.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson. They re-signed Brian Johnson, the kicker too. So that was earlier, so maybe he'll probably be cut if he hasn't already been. But when I saw the list, he was still on there. So
right.
I did this right before the show. So let's see. David Bada, defensive line, he re-signed. Troy Apke re-signed. A lot of people hate him, but he's mostly special teams, even though he's listed as a cornerback. So I know a lot of folks get fancy when they see cornerback and Troy Apke, but he's special teams. He showed why he's a valuable commodity on this team on special teams. So y'all back off for Troy, no cover Apke. He's on special teams. Jonathan Williams, the running back, he re-signed. I like when he got in there last year. Towards the end of the season, he runs angry. I like the way he runs.
Yes. Yes.
Jordan Kazansky, not Kazansky. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it for real, but that's going to be his name for the show. He's a linebacker. He re-signed, and it's a couple other folks that I'm not even going to try to pronounce their name. You can go to the website. It's on our website somewhere on there. All the players. I think I put it up there before, but like we said, they re-signed a lot of players on the 3 actual acquisitions from other teams. So there are a lot of, still question marks. Landon Collins, still out there. They were saying that a possibility, if he doesn't pick up somewhere else, they might bring him back. But they know it's a small market for hybrid non-covering linebacker / safety. So they still have questions at middle linebacker. I think Cole Holcomb could do the job at middle linebacker. Jamin Davis, who they drafted last year, he was raw. He's athletic, and he has some development to do. I don't know why they thought that he would be able to just slide into the middle linebacker role after being a starter for just one season.
I thought that was a bad move. He will actually be moving to the outside now. That they are going to. Cole Holcomb is looking to go to the middle.
Yeah.
So he will go to the outside. I think that suits him better initially because of his range. I still don't think it's a bad pick. It's the pick's not bad. It's where you decided to play him that is.
Yeah.
You have to understand. Sometimes you draft best available. Obviously, there were two other linebackers that were in my wheelhouse that I would have liked to have taken over him, but I still don't think that is a bad choice at all. I just don't like where they played him. Sometimes you gotta, shake things up a little bit, and you gotta play the young man where he's better suited, and they didn't do that. Kind of exposed some of his weaknesses, in his youth in that position. So with Holcomb going to the middle, him going to the outside possibly, I think that'll be a better suit for him. His skill, his ability to cover, all that good stuff. I think it'll be better for him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Him being a weak side linebacker, I think he'd be a monster at weak side because, like you said, he'd be able to cover out the flat, and sometimes with the front four, that weak side linebacker is a monster when get a clean run at a running back or a tight end because of your defensive front doing so well. It just adds so much to it, and I feel like Cole Holcomb is underrated. He's been here, drafted 4 years, lead the team in tackles, played every game, and he's on the field for almost every snap on the defense. So, I mean,
yeah.
And he can tackle, and he's actually shown some coverage. He had an interception return for a touchdown last year. He had a couple of batted passes in the coverage. So you're seeing him develop, and like you said, you see the other pieces around now. With that's what I want to ask you. With Tim Settle going to Buffalo, I always thought that with Daron Payne's rookie contract coming up, that he would be possibly a trade bait, or they would probably keep Settle and do something with Payne because you're not going to be able to re-sign all of the top picks on the line with Chase Young, Montez Sweat coming up. You still got to re-sign Terry. You got to talk about that also. So, what do you think the plan is going to be going forward now that Tim Settle made that move to Buffalo?
Man, I don't like to say that. See, they're running a 4-3 now. 3-4, you got to sign that anchor, right? 4-3, not so much. I think if you get an offer, I think everybody is always available, you know what I mean, for the right price. I don't think there's any player untouchable, especially with this team. Maybe Terry. But outside of that, I think any player is available. I think I've seen several scenarios and what people think as far as a trade. I think Terry's getting his money first, and then we'll see after that. Like I said, this is a 4-3 defense now. It's nice, but I'm not saying you can get anybody to play that position, but we've seen a lot of their backups come in and do very well. So I'm not saying he's not special. I'm just saying that you got other guys that are a little more special than him. And if he has a lot of value and you have a plethora of, front seven, front four guys, then you got to start utilizing those pieces because, like you said, cap ain't going to allow you and the money don't allow you to spend and be able to keep all of them. And what they've done in the past is let some of these guys get to the end, and then you don't get anything for them. So if you feel like you can't keep him, and there's someone else that you can, because this is a numbers game. We all know it's a numbers game as far as the money goes. If you feel like there's a guy that's cheaper that can get the job done, then you let him ride. Then you get something for him. And I'm not against that. Not in this league. You know what I mean? This isn't your 1992, 93 type of season here where, guys are coming back and you're always keeping all of your guys. It just doesn't work that way. Contracts are big, money's big, guys deserve to get paid, Payne deserves to get paid. And the question is, if you feel like you got somebody better, then you got to get something for him, you got to trade him. And I think Terry's going to get his money first. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I would love to keep Payne and Allen together, but reality, not be able to, especially with, speaking of Terry, the reason why I've heard that negotiation is he got complicated because of the outrageous wide receiver signings this offseason. You got guys like Christian Kirk and getting big money, Devontae Adams making that move, and a lot of, wide receivers.
I know guys want to use Christian Kirk, but, no, the guy's a streakster, and he went to an organization that obviously can't evaluate very well. If he turns out to be more than that, then, I will be the first to applaud him. But, I mean, let's be real here. The guy is a bullet that is a streakster that made some big plays in the passing game. But if I need him to run a 5-yard, 10-yard in or to get some separation, he hasn't shown that he can do that. And Jacksonville is known to be that's Jacksonville's one, what the heck was that, of the year so far, is paying Christian Kirk all that money. But I think Zay will be better.
I mean,
I think he will have more production. Just saying.
I don't know, but they're basically saying now that Terry's going to be commanding somewhere around 21 to 22 million a year.
You pay him.
Yeah, you got to pay him.
I don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
This team hasn't seen a wide receiver like that in ages. I might go back to the well and say when we had, the posse and Gary Clark like type guy, like you pay him. You have no choice.
I agree. I just say give him a bunch of guaranteed money so it don't count against the cap.
Exactly. I mean, we all know that the cap, the salary cap is fake. It's phony. It is a bunch of baloney. Look, there is guys maneuvering and doing things to maneuver the cap. There's teams that do it all the time. They're just it's funny money. Like it's just playing numbers game. And cap really just don't mean anything. It's all about how you structure contracts. And just pay the guy guaranteed money. I mean, I'd like to see him. I like to see him get paid. He deserves to get paid through all of what he's been through. He's been the constant here. And I would do it now because with Carson Wentz and if the other receivers step up, he's going to be making way more deep plays than he's ever made in his career. And then you're really going to have to pay him.
Yeah, I think they're talking about it. They got to get it done. You can't even let that man hit free agency at all.
Because he's gone.
Yeah, so I hope they get it done. They coach, I read an article said they're still, talking, they're still in negotiations, and they're looking to get some. They said when they did the who's signing, what they talking about? The Jonathan Allen sign, they said they didn't start negotiating for real till after they were already in training camp. So
right,
hopefully
it'll get done.
Yeah,
it'll get done. Yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about that. I think they're going to take care of Terry for sure.
Yeah, they better because like you said, I had the graphic up when he went back to a 1,000-yard season, back to back, first time since '92 with Henry Ellert. I said,
"Oh man, that's a name. That's a name."
I said, Henry Allen, he was here for 2 seasons? He was here for 4 seasons?
Yeah.
That's how
Man was
long it's
playing
been since we
ball though.
had a
He was balling.
back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, dog. That's crazy.
Crazy.
I said, wow. But like I said, there's a lot of good things going on with the team, even though, they don't talk about it or they worried about other stuff and, the clickbait and all of that good stuff. But that's why we come to you live and bring you the real parts of the football team, the baseball team, hockey teams, all that. But it's mostly with the football team for all the craziness. But like I said, next Thursday is the draft, and we're looking to improve our roster and get some more talent and some more youth on this team, as DujunneaB said, for a cheap contract. So what do you think this team is going to do with the number 11 pick, DujunneaB? A lot of rumors: wide receiver, defensive back, linebacker, quarterback, running back. I've even heard. What do you think this team is going to lead with the acquisition they've made and some of the holes that are still there? What do you think the direction they're going to go in with the number 11 pick? Or are they going to trade back to try to get more picks because they only have 6 this year?
There's a lot that they could do. I'm not the fan of the quarterback. I'm just as much on the Malik train as I was on the Lamar Jackson train. I do believe he has that ability. But at the same time, this team cannot afford to have any projects. Like, they need to hit on every pick this year. That's something they haven't really done, especially their second rounder. They don't have a lot, so they have that first and second, and they don't pick until the 4th round. So there's a lot of talented guys. Do you go ahead and you trade out of that? I don't think that's off the table, because I know there's a lot that people are thinking. I personally have 2 positions. I'm kind of torn. I would like to go. If I was the GM, I'd go wide receiver or cornerback. And the only safety that I like that I really like that I would choose is Hamilton, but Kyle Hamilton. But outside of that, I really am between Drake London or a Garrett Wilson. I don't think we need to explain why you're picking those guys. They're the cream of the crop with the wide receiver core, and I do think those 2 are better than Olave. But if I had to go with a cornerback and to give me somebody that I believe that can be a potential lockdown, shutdown, is Derek Stingley Jr. I know a lot of people are talking about Sauce, and that's great. He's a heck of a player, but I think Stingley Jr. is one of the most least talked about. There's a lot of excuses of why he isn't better than Sauce, but he has everything that you want in a corner. He can play press man. He has great acceleration. He can change directions well. He has smooth hip movement. He's very physical and tackles well. That's the main thing. I think that's the main thing if you're a Washington fan, is you want to see your corners tackle a lot better than they have in the past. And I think that's a guy's a day 1 starter, doesn't have to work his way in, and can really do some stuff for you there. But I'm not against trading back. But I don't think quarterback or running back, any of those things. I don't want to see a linebacker. You got enough of those. Use your linebackers and put them in position to make plays. That's your job as a coach. I think if there was another linebacker pick, I think about half of this fan base would flip their lid. But if it's corner or wide receiver, I'm totally okay with that, because there's a lot of best available players that are going to be there at 11. But if you get an offer that you cannot refuse, when it comes down to gathering more picks, you probably likely are going to still get that another 1st rounder. You may be able to get a couple. For that pick, you probably can get a 1st. You can get somebody 2nd. Maybe you get a 3rd or 2. A couple late round draft picks along with that. They're going to have to package something for you, to come out of that 11th pick. But if you don't, that's the area I go to. And the only reason why I say wide receiver is this. I like DujunneaB Brown, but there's nothing that on that says that, oh yeah, you're slotted in to come in and be a starter for us. Even with Curtis Samuel, yes, we've seen what he's done in the past. We hope that he's healthy, but so what have you done for me lately, league? And when you start playing that game, well, we're going to give guys opportunity. That's the guy who used to be here mentality. And everybody's roster spot is not guaranteed unless you're Terry. You know what I mean? He earned that. He earned that right. I don't see anybody else on this offense that's earned the right to be shoot in anywhere. So when you have that ability to be able to get a guy like that, that's a game changer that you can put beside a Terry McLaurin and move the coverage for you, and you know that's possible, I think you have to consider it. But, you know, to me, their needs are wide receiver and cornerback. And those are my 2-3 guys that I'm like, that's a good deal there. And those guys should be there at that pick. You don't like it.
I mean, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. But my thing is the cornerbacks we drafted last year, St. Juice and some of the other guys that we haven't even given a chance to see what they have. Like I said, I don't follow college, so I don't know how good these guys are. I mean, if they're, you know, game-breaking talents that, you know, there's going to be a menace in the league, then yeah, I get it. But I'm like, the guys that we, you know, drafted just last year, we haven't even seen what they can do. And the same thing with, you know, the wide receivers. That's why I'm like, I understand it. I'm like, I want to see.
You want an offensive lineman at 11? I don't. I think we've seen that already. We watched old I can't stay on the field, but I'm going to command a whole bunch of money and walk to Jacksonville. Yeah. I mean, you don't want that happening again. Yeah. I mean, I can pick up a good offensive lineman, a tackle in the second round. Yeah. And it's, again, I know fans are like, oh, I don't know about that, but it's because the team hasn't hit on a lot of these things. Their second rounders have been absolute. You know what I mean? You want those guys to produce. They shouldn't be projects.
The third round has been better than the second rounders. That's what I'm trying to think. Where would I go with that pick? That's what I'm trying to think. Right, where would I go with that pick? I mean, I could see wide receiver because, you know, wide receiver is a dynamic position. It's just, well, it'll be under a rookie contract, first round pick money. You already got money tied up with Samuel, and you want to, like I said, throw the truck at Terry. I'm trying to think, where would I go with that pick? Because I like where we are at tight end. Like I said, wide receiver still a question mark.
And you could add a tight end. I wouldn't pick a tight end in the first round.
Oh yeah, no, that's very rare. That's what I'm trying to think.
Not in this draft.
I'm just going through position by position. Like you say, offensive lineman, defensive line, been there, done that. Like you say, linebacker, been there, done that. You said it's only really one quality safety worth a first round pick. So I guess the only positions left is wide receiver, quarterback, for real. You can
never have too many of those. I mean, look at how many wide receivers they got that we believe have talent. I've seen DujunneaB Brown play well, and with a capable quarterback who can get them the ball, they should. But again, I'm done with what they should do.
Yeah.
Look, we're in the business of winning ball games, and the bottom line is, they've spent enough picks on the defense. And to be quite honest with you, I've got like a couple late round guys, couple guys that can help you out with depth. They can play some special teams, and they're quality players. But they gotta focus on the offense somehow. Yeah, and I think you never can have enough wide receivers, enough quality wide receivers for Carson Wentz, especially when I'm not 100% sold on the tight end room.
Well,
I'm okay with J.D. McKissick catching the ball more that I'm hoping that Logan can stay on the field. But outside of that,
I'm thinking he's going to be all right. I mean, we both talked about that hit that put him out was a dirty hit that they never even flagged or fined or anything. But I mean, for the most part, he's he's been healthier than Jordan Reed, and being the same transition from quarterback to tight end, But at least Thomas was used to running more from the quarterback position when he was quarterback, so he's used to taking more hits, and he's way more physical than Jordan. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, he's been pretty healthy. I think he had a stretch the year before where he was out for a few games. I think might have been concussion or something. But excuse me, he's definitely an X factor. I like Bates. To me, he played very well with him getting in. Ricky Seals-Jones no longer here, but I like Bates. But you definitely need another viable threat. Bates will get you stuff. Every now and again he'll pull something out of his ass, but you need somebody that's going to be a threat. That's why I always love the 2 tight end set, which we always talk about so much, and how crucial that is to an offense. Flexibility and being productive, especially in the red zone. So I don't know. I mean, the tight end definitely could be improved, but I mean, the wide receiver, I guess that would make logical sense, especially with them trying to re-sign Terry, saying, look, we know you've been doing it by yourself for a long time. Look, we're getting you help now, and we're going to give you a lot of money. Come on, man, let's stick around.
It's about best available. You know what I mean? And if you don't feel like, I think there's 5 wideouts. I think there's 5 guaranteed that are going to come and really improve their offense that they are inserted into. But there's like 3 that are sure ends. And I don't think you can look at your roster and just be like, okay, we'll just we'll pass on best available. They better be giving you a dump truck load of picks to be able to fill in where you're missing in your 3rd rounder, and maybe give you an extra second. At least you're going to move down. I don't know at that point with it being the 11th pick, they got to give you something. I mean, I would almost command a future pick if I was greedy.
I mean, let's say it's a team in the middle 20s in the first round is trying to get the 11th. The only way I would do it is I get that 20th pick, and I need you to throw in a 3rd rounder, and I would possibly ask for a player. That's the only way I give them that 11th spot.
Oh, they give me 3rd. They give me a 2nd. They're going to give me that spot. They're going to give me a 2nd and a 3rd. And they might even have to give me a future pick, like a late round pick. But it's going to give me it's going to be a package. Like, I'm moving back from 11 to 20. I still think I wouldn't move any further than that. I would like to stay, if I'm the GM, I'd stay around, 17, 18, 19. 20 is at the edge of where I would want to be. Because there's going to be a lot of players there. And if you look at offense, there's a lot of players there on offense. But I just, too often, they don't draft best available. You know what I mean? Like, with your first rounder, they got to hit on all of these, man. Like, unless they got done their homework this time, there can't be any misses. I don't care. The 2 7th rounders, they can't miss on them either. Like, there cannot be any misses with this draft. I cannot stress that enough. Because that's going to make the difference in the long run, especially this year. Like, these guys need to be able to have an effect on this football team this year. Not down the road, future, and all this, a work in progress. Nah. Their talents need to be able to be seen and have some type of effect on a football game. You need to be able to have them in rotation. So I'm kind of leery about trading out of the 11th pick when you have so much that you can choose from, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And if you went out and did what you did to get Carson Wentz, then you need to give him all the tools available. And that's not just including what you have on your roster. When you have the 11th pick, you have the ability to draft a absolute fine and elite wide receiver, you got to do it. You can't play around. And if you're going to trade back, you need to still be able to get a quality wide receiver or some other weapon for Carson Wentz. He needs every bit, every tool in the toolbox. If you got to go buy more tools, then that's what you got to do. And the draft is part of that. So let's get more tools.
I can see that, Elijah. I understand that, Elijah. Let me ask you one more hypothetical before I go to the draft picks so we get ready to get up out of here. Say Willis falls to the second round and we still have that pick, number 15. Would you pick him at 15 in the second round?
Man, at this point, and I know how Paul feels about it. I think you'd be stupid not to. To me, it'd be a waste. I think it'd be a wasted pick. But at the end of the day, if you've seen enough and you feel like, because everything's about fit, right? And everything is about being willing to help that young man maximize his ability. And I think if he sits behind an individual like Carson, you could do that. Now, here's the caveat. Carson is sensitive. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. If you draft a quarterback, I don't believe Carson is a guy that if you draft a quarterback, that he's just going to get mad and put more work in and show why he should be here for the long term and why this is that someone's going to have to pry this QB1 from his cold, dead hands. He's going to take, you know what I mean? All of what he's been through, he's going to take it, and it's going to hurt it's going to be a sensitive spot for him. And will that distract him? You know what I mean? Because look at what they had to do. Look at how they had to present it. And I wouldn't say sell to him, but Rivera made it clear that this is their guy and they believe in him, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So if you, and I understand this is football and you got to do what you got to do, but does that hurt that dude's confidence because you drafted a Malik Willis in the second round, or is he going to view it as, hey, I understand, you know,
I mean,
injury history, whatever.
I mean, hopefully you understand because Heineke's under contract for one more year. He's only under contract for a year. They let Kyle Allen go. You got Montez has been on the practice squad for an eternity. So, I mean...
He's on the practice squad for a reason.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They just won't let him go.
Keep him around and let him play in the XFL. And
or the USFL. He could be a quarterback.
One of the two. One of the two.
I don't even know why they keep that dude in the roster. He just come out for preseason. He throw quarterback for a quarter or for a half. And then you don't never hear from him again.
And does well for a half, and fans go wild and think that he should be the starter.
Oh my goodness! If anybody, if I ever see in a group that somebody says, "Yeah, this team will go to the Super Bowl if you put Montez in the game,"
they buying into Heineke, so I don't see it as being far fetched, especially with this fan base, this new age fan base now.
I mean, I like Heineke. Don't get me wrong. I like him.
He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, he's a quality quarterback.
He
has the fight. He has the hustle. He has the want to win, but he just don't have all the tools to win. That's just what it is.
And that's okay, because you know what? This is the thing. The league is suffering from a backup quarterback deficiency. If you go look around the league, I ask fans to look around the league, think of teams around the league, and how many quality backup quarterbacks there are. There's not many at all. Once your starter goes down, Jack, it's a wrap. Folks are looking at folding up the season, period, because they're just not good enough at all. That's why these other two leagues are so important. The league is suffering from a deficiency at backup quarterback, because they don't. A lot of it's not deemed as being important, but it is. And second, it's offensive line play. there's a huge drop off in a lot of cases. This team is an anomaly because I think we saw many combinations of offensive linemen, and they played very well.
Don't get me
But
started.
this league is suffering from an offensive lineman deficiency, and these leagues will help these guys get time to refine and get better because a lot of times, man, when your starter go down, I mean, you name how many good tackles there are, left or right, in this league. When that starter goes down, you better come up with a game plan to get that boy some help, unless you're trying to send your quarterback to the IR. Because there ain't that many that can back up and come in and really hold their own. So I'm really liking the league and where this is going. But you got to have a quality backup, and he's definitely that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that about the offensive line because I've had so many people, even one of my coworkers, complain about the offensive line. I keep on telling them they were ranked number 6 according to PFF, who grades every position for the NFL.
Right.
And every position on our offensive line had a backup in it at one point during the season.
Yeah, I mean, and they almost had at times one side or the other was backup, and they were shuffling guys around, and this offensive line still played well. That's one area that they don't have to. I don't feel like they have to really worry about. I know people are, could use another starter here or there, at tackle, whatever, but these guys have played well, and if you got a guy that can get the ball out of his hands and make decisions, get the ball out of his hands quicker. I know sometimes he has a tendency of holding the ball as well, but he makes quick decisions and gets the ball out. You don't have the problem. Taylor Heineke showed that as well when he got the ball out quick. They didn't have problems. They were able to open up, run games. These guys were able to get out in space and make blocks for guys like McKissick and Gibson out there. I really don't think that that's an issue. I just think it's just about drafting best available, and the best available needs to be on the offensive side. They've spent tons of money and spent tons of picks on the defensive side. They need to give. You went and you gave up a pick for Carson. Now you got to give him. That toolbox needs to be loaded with all the tools that you can give him, and some specialty ones, if some specialty ones if necessary, because otherwise we're sitting here talking about what we're talking about over the last couple of years, the offense not being able to put up points and being being the Achilles heel of the defense. Let the offense put up points and then the defense has no excuse. Jack Del Rio has no excuse. So give him everything that you can. Because you watch a lot of the Colts games, he's put up, his numbers say that they put up touchdowns. That's with a quality running back and Taylor. So, yeah, give him everything that you can give him.
Yeah, we saw what this team can do when the offense does what it's supposed to do and the defense not on the field for over 30 minutes a game.
Yep.
We saw, we remember the drive, the Tampa Bay drive, over 10 minutes, 18 plays that sealed the game into the Super Bowl champion. So, yeah, we know what the recipe is. You just have to execute and do it.
Absolutely.
Quickly go run down the draft picks that they have. They have the 11th pick in the first round. They have the 15th pick in the second round, which is number 47. As DujunneaB mentioned, the third round pick was traded as part of the deal for Carson Wentz. Fourth round, they have the 8th pick, which is 113th. Sixth round, they have the 10th pick, which is 189th. And then 7th round, we have 2 picks, 230, which is the 9th pick, and 240, which is the 19th pick for the Washington Commanders. So we'll definitely be tuned in next week for the draft, because after the first 2 days, Washington don't have to pick for a couple of days. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know everybody's going to dissect it, and some people going to be pissed off, and some people going to be happy, and some people are going to be mad just because they want to be mad. But Definitely going to be an interesting off season. It's definitely going to be interesting season going forward, and can't wait to cover them once again from the beginning to the end, wherever that ends. Regular season, playoffs, or Super Bowl if we're ever lucky enough. We've covered the Nats for a World Series championship. We've covered the Mystics for a WNBA championship. We've covered the United for, did they win a championship? I think they did. I don't know. I think they did.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Robbie here, no. I actually.
Yeah.
And we saw the Capitals win the championship, so it would be my dream. I've seen Washington win the Super Bowl in my lifetime 3 times, but I would love to cover it for a whole season because there's nothing like being on the record and telling people when they're wrong when you knew you were right, just like with the Nats season when we were 19-31. Everybody was throwing it in. Me and Paul, the boxing guy, said that this team would prevail, and they did it. And we're on the record, damn it. That's what I'm proud of. But, DujunneaB, I appreciate you taking the time. I'll let the folks know what you got going on with all your NHRA coverage and everything you got going on with your Ghost Cast. I can't even keep up with everything you got going on.
Well, we have the show up for the preview of the last ever race at Houston Raceway Park. It's bittersweet, but should be make for a fun weekend. We have that preview show up on the Not Bland show on Ghostcast. And we will have and talk about the draft picks and what Washington did or did not do on the breakdown with Karita Parks after the draft. So we will have our show after that. And this season, I'm always here for Washington Talk, and I'm covering the NFL as a whole, kind of pulled away from doing specific Commanders stuff, but I've always got my ears to the ground over there. But it allows me to be a little bit more of a fan this year, and we're just gonna see how the AFC West goes, and gonna bolt up, man. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do this year. We're gonna bolt up. So
yeah, that's going to the AFC West is going to be. Yeah, that thing gonna be crazy out there, man. I don't know, all them quarterbacks, all them players that they went out there. I don't know, man.
But what's wild is how you Kansas City sat back all that time and they went from like first. I know people still think that they're like top, but I think they went from first to worst. And all these little nuanced picks, they still don't have no defense. Like.
I still don't understand.
With all that firepower out there, come on, man. They can't stop nobody.
I still don't understand the Tyreek Hill move. I don't know how you trade that. I know you got 5 draft picks, but I don't know.
Miami looking. Now, ownership is trash, and, who knows? They had Brian Flores. They might do something, but I don't see too much going on with that coach, but that's for another topic for another day.
I mean, they still going with Tua, right?
Yeah, they still going with. I can throw. Apparently, I can throw better than Tua. They still going with him. I think. We'll see. I'm just gonna say it. We'll see. I really think Tua has some tools. They've given him everything he needs at wide receiver. That's for sure. So there's no excuse now. No excuse. He's got the tight ends. He's got all the wide receivers. He's got the running back. There's no excuse. If you can't get the ball there, somebody by the name of, I think it's Teddy Bridgewater, is going to be taking your spot.
Yeah, I think they're trying to take the Kyler Murray approach. He's a short guy. Let's throw him. Let's give him a whole bunch of weapons to see if he can make something happen.
Yep.
But
he's not Kyler Murray, though.
Yeah, exactly. But then Bridgewater, my only issue with him is whenever he get a chance to start, he can't stay damn healthy.
And it seems like he changes too. Like when he comes in as a backup, he is more aggressive, and then when he is the starter, it's like he's very conservative about how he delivers the ball. Like he's afraid to throw an interception.
Yeah, looking over his shoulder, worried about getting pulled. But he reminds me of Jason Campbell. Whenever he get a chance to shine, some fluke injury takes him out the lineup and shit.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, I mean, man, Jason Campbell, man. Unfortunately, that who was the coach of that? I can't remember who the coach was.
It was Norv, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and that horrible offensive line that man didn't stand a chance. And when he finally got a chance, and when he finally got a chance to be the star, Alabama got a dislocated kneecap. I'm like, really? It just wasn't meant for him to be here.
Typical Washington fashion. Just the most wild stuff happens.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be the answer for the going forward for a few years. He had all the tools.
I did too.
But unfortunately, he was under the wrong coach that didn't believe in, I don't know why, better offensive line play when he came up under the Cowboys with the triplets and running the ball. So, yeah. Like I said, we can talk Washington football history.
We sure can.
Yeah, we start talking about shit in the 80s, and y'all were like, oh, how did we get here? This is supposed to be a free agency 2022 show. But, yeah, that's how it is. But, all right, dude, I'll let you get out of here.
All right, brother.
Play some independent music videos, as always, before I get out of here. So, y'all check us out every Monday night, Sports and Hill Podcast, every Sunday night at the Bar Radio around 6 o'clock, Monday around 9 o'clock. And as always, got to end with my man Renegade. DC Sports without the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. CP3, live from the lab, and I'm out.
Money, I love that money.
Lucas.
Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you've been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. It's money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't want to be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut him off. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way. Cause money, 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 make me shut them off. Keep playing with these goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. Cause a lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we done got it out the mud, nigga, what you talking about? Screaming on my God, money got me pride. They living a lie, look into my eyes, they might seem surprised. This is homicide. We just multiply. We been on the rise. If we got some wings, fuck it, we gon' have to fly. Money, 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 what I'm talking about. Day in my life, take me a different route. And use all my case, niggas on my face. You can get it erased, what you talking about? Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you've been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. You never crossing these borders. I'm whipping it up, Gordon Ramsay. I swear that I'm cooking these orders. You talk about me, you better just hope that you can just really afford it. I'm balling, I'm winning, I'm feeling like Robert's a horrid. Nigga, I'm scoring. I count in the morning. They talk about me, then I gotta ignore it. My bitches be foreign, so independent, my money be corporate. These raps is boring. You hate me and I'm always gonna adore it. I'm smoking that soaring. She always go ahead, let me explore it. I call her my Dora. You can go and talk about me, I ain't flawless. I go put my all in. If a nigga talk about me, then I'm gone in. You know that I'm gone in. Jump in, take trips, Pompeii, all day, always keep 3 stacks like Andre. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it, man. And you can never, ever, ever get rid of that. So watch what you say, and watch how you do. If you play the game, then you play by the rules. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you've been talking about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Just money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about.
Live from the lab. Many can copy us, but none can duplicate us. DJ Jules.
Yo, M20, where you at? Run that up, Rico.
Tell them I'm back now. I never back down. My team strapped down. Let it go back down. Down. Man down, that's on 911. Nigga, I never back down. No, I won't run, nigga. Chasing money till my pockets big pun, nigga. Terrorists, why you fucking with the wrong ones, nigga? Don't back down. Jesus, send you to Jesus, front to the casket. My flow the meanest, that's what they eat is. Get off my penis unless you a genius. Shit, I need this. Back down never. Who is better? Birds of a feather. Niggas all the same, they don't know better. Man, I've been a king since a nigga Chris Webber. Man down, let it go. Better stay on your toes. I've been flexing on these hoes. Man down, let it go. I've been grinding, I've been fighting. Got the lightning, once the cake, got the ice. The supersizing my meal. Appetizing, oh my god. Running back, I'm a titan, nigga. Ass ball about the kid. A&T is killing this shit. Man, I gotta stay lit. Nigga, extinguish your shit. I got the fire. Make us sing like Mariah. They just birds on the wire. Dirt naps, where's the choir singing? I never back down. My team strapped down. Let it go back down. Man down, that's on 911. Nigga, I never back down. No, I won't run, nigga. Chasing money till my pockets big pun, nigga. Terrorists, why you fucking with the wrong ones, nigga? Don't back down. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bag. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. But I dish it like I give it and go. Counting money while I chill at the stove. How I deliver, I've been at the dough. It's up to you how business will go. That 36 I get for the low. Count it up, no feelings will show. Spend so much, gotta get it some more. When they hands out, I just give them a no. How they always talk about me, but a nigga stand out. Watch out how you really walk up to me, that's a man down. All these niggas got these drums with them like a band now. I've been doing what I want, that's what you can't doubt. I've been just feeling myself. Do I just really need help? I got my weight up. I be just telling myself I got love for all of my dogs. I take a pay cut. Some niggas really gon' rise. Some niggas really gon' slide. So go say a prayer. We ain't never gotta slap 5. Nigga, just pay your tithes and call me the mayor. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings. She giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on a move. That's a digital dash. They been just losing. I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up the smash. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, 12 on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. let's go. Jump to the Cadillac, girl, put some miles on it. Yeah. Let's go, let's go. Pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it for a pimp, pimp, pimp. Pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it for a pimp, pimp, pimp. Pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it, pop it for a pimp, pimp, pimp. Pop it, pop it, pop it. Come on, Kitty. Oh, sing it for my ladies, Kitty. Jump to the Cadillac, girl, put some miles on it. Let's ride. I see your shit. It's TK. Hey, Daz. Hey, Connor's Bar, Connie's. Ellie. Hey, Keisha. Big Deal. Mama, Dex. Hey, Nada. And Lele. Y'all with me? Yeah. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, 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 let's go. Run, young.
That boy Peace, so crazy.
No. I was down, now I'm really about to go get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh, bet that we get up. Pushing this weight, I'm doing sit-ups. I was just dirty, now I got my fit up. Too good for these bitches, I bet they gon' miss us. And I pack a bag if you think that I'm trippin'. I keep this shit brisk like I'm sip Lipton. Even though niggas don't know what to get on. You ain't shit, so your niggas gon' get on. Get you some pack, go make a flip homes. Yeah, I'm stuck in my bad ways. Niggas always being burnt out, so I dip them all in the ashtray. I don't understand these niggas that just always talking about, yeah, they past ways. I don't understand these bitches always comparing me to they past days. I give a fuck about you, you give a fuck about me. I just be rapping for money, you be rapping for free. Feel like that I rap like a god, the reason they call me a G. I'm against all of these odds. Niggas ain't fucking with me. Never know worries of Kuna Matata. They say that I'm hot cause the devil with Prada. I'm Soldier Boy first and these niggas gon' follow. Catching no feelings, you catching these hollows. Ride with Rodriguez like I fuck with Rollo. Ain't got no time when I see this Movado. Bet that bitch shine like I'm in Monte Carlo. Looking at me like I done hit the lotto. Counting your last days, get hit up. Talking that trash, Shay on Twitter. Your bitch, she be bad, yeah, I'm with her. When she see me, her face be lit up. Boy, better go ahead and mind your business. I don't go back and forth like tenor. Run this game, I don't get no finna. But we bout to get up. 10 rounds, now that nigga can't get up. That's what you get when you go fuck with the vision. My money be piling, we don't do division. The feds be watching, I just gotta get up. I was just down, now I'ma get up. Sleeping on me, I bet that they get up. My money was low, but now I'ma get up. Oh.
All the Father Hal Jackson. Oh, let Jimmy take the motherfucking rattle. Yo, back up. Put my tail on the rattle. I might devour you. Head first, tail last.
Vision.
Y'all get some money out of the tail? Give us some money
mission
too.
equals progress.
Ain't no
Get up off your ass and do something.
Yeah, Welcome to the boogie down. Do something about it. That's real. Fake is fake.
Late this evening, crime scene tape still marks the scene on Castle Street as Syracuse police look for evidence. This is where two young people were found shot today. One of the victims, just 15 years old.
Kelly, thanks. Back to the breaking news on Syracuse's south side right now. CBS 5's Dora Scheidel with the live eye near the crime scene on Midland Ave.
Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't trying to go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law till we equal while we fall. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't trying to go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law, now we legal, we the mob. We been humble for too long, what it seemed like. In the jungle for too long, in a dream life. But the dream we was living didn't seem right. People getting killed when they stop at a street light. Serving yams every day, Thanksgiving. We know it's wrong, we was trying to make a living. We didn't ask for these calls they was given. The job's non-existent, so wrong we was pitching. You getting money, then they might rob you. You looking funny, then Ray might pop you. All my niggas do it living like I do. Snitching is a sin, plus cops might not do. They don't want us in this business cause we real. We tryna get a world something they can feel. We don't start problems, we just tryna build. When we pop, everybody screaming, y'all gotta chill. First you get the vision, then you get ambition. Get up off your ass, nigga, get up on your mission. Is y'all niggas listening? It's simple with addition. Then progress, nigga, fat mob in position. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law till we equal while we fall. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law, now we legal, we the mob. Drug dealer pulling up in foreign cars. Coming home third bid, more scars. In a place where poverty is more ours. The kids see the stars, but the sky too far. That's teenagers, OGs wouldn't serve us. Stay in school, little nigga, get your verbs up. But the chicks wanted niggas with a surplus. We sold candle wax, then they wanna murder us. You want beef or money, nigga, better choose. Cause my niggas ain't got shit to lose. We go to war for sport, then we snooze. Get up early morning, light it up, check the news. If you ballin' in the streets, we'll take it. Rest in peace to my fallen who ain't make it. We learn the streets didn't love us like we thinking. So now we want the world, we legit tryna take it. In the streets what we learned was the best lesson. And I can still get you murdered with a text message. But we off that, now we tryna advance. Try to stop it, we gon' dance and we jam like a sex weapon. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law till we equal while we fall. Man, we in this shit together cause we more. Everybody with us better do their job. We ain't tryna go to prison, we ain't soft. We done did it, broke the law, now we legal, we the mob.
Vampire music.
Get it straight, get it straight. Hater, what's good, Brody? Good, Brody. J-Ball, my nigga Wiz, what up? J-Shaw, my nigga Jamie, my nigga Tracy, what up, baby? Nikki, what's good? Hey, Fat Mom Queen. Fat Mom, kid. Chill, Miss Jackson. Real nigga radio.
Young nigga, please understand, people gonna change. The key is not to be one of those niggas. Everything changes under the motherfucking sun. Trade hustles, nigga, not your morals. How you feel?
Everybody changed, though. Friends ain't my same homies. My bitches ain't my same homies. Everybody changed on me. They ain't the same homies. My ex-bitch did the same. She ain't the same homie. Left her in the past, she won't leave me alone. She see money on my mind, she can't leave me alone. I'ma keep going till I pass, y'all. See the ops all in traffic, then I live